Here's your Farm and Ranch Report from the Montana Ag Network.
Hello everyone, it's time for Farm and Ranch News, and today's report comes to you from Washington, D.C., where ranchers are gathering to advocate for the livestock industry this week, and we will have more on the National Cattlemen's Beef Association Legislative Conference here later in the report. But first today, as I traveled east to our nation's capital this week, I ran into the chairman of the House Agriculture Committee in the Minneapolis airport. Of course, that being Congressman Collin Peterson of Minnesota. And he had this message for Montana farmers and ranchers.
Fortunately, we got the Farm Bill done, and most of these problems that are being created by this weather and by the bad winter are basically covered in that Farm Bill. So, people need to go into the FSA office, NRCS office, and make sure they're aware of all the programs and whatever.
For Montana ranchers, that could include the Livestock Indemnity Program, and for farmers, crop insurance. Chairman Peterson did add, though, that the Farm Bill will not cover most of the damage caused by the flooding in the Midwest.
It's not like what's going on in the South. The South didn't have crop insurance, and they had a different kind of a situation, so they're not covered by the Farm Bill. The other problem we're having is getting the thing implemented as quick as we can. It's going pretty slow, and we're putting the heat on them, but they're not moving too fast.
While Montana's dairy industry is small compared to the national average, Peterson is asking Secretary of Agriculture Perdue to make implementing the new dairy margin coverage program and its provisions in the 2018 Farm Bill a high priority to provide much-needed assistance to the nation's struggling dairy farmers.
Tell those dairy farmers to don't sell out, because this program, once it gets up and running, is going to save them. So I'm just trying to keep people from going out of business before. They're not going to be able to sign up till June, but it's going to go back to the first year. So.
Again, that's Minnesota Representative and Chairman of the House Agriculture Committee, Collin Peterson. Don't go away. We'll have more news right after these messages. As we return back today, cattlemen and women are in Washington, D.C. this week for the NCBA Spring Legislative Conference. They're heading to Capitol Hill today to advocate for the livestock industry.
I would say while we're out making a living, and whether you're, trying to calve in Montana and get your hay up and graze and move your cattle, we're here, and I say we, meaning our staff and our volunteer leaders are here in the nation's capital every day trying to be sure that you can stay in business from year to year, whether it's visiting congressional offices, whether it's visiting with agencies, or even the White House. They're looking out for us, whether it's on trade, whether it's on tax reform, waters of the U.S., endangered species, and I know that's big in Montana.
Baker, Montana rancher Wanda Pinot will be discussing multiple issues this week on the Hill, but one is at the top of her list is how the USDA and FDA will regulate alternative cell-based proteins.
Actually, I will be sitting in on that meeting for the state of Montana, and I will do the takeaway for that, and I will inform our executives on what their plans to do, and also I will give my point of view and feelings on how I think they should go.
And the NCBA Spring Legislative Conference will wrap up on Thursday afternoon with an address from the Chief Agriculture Negotiator for the U.S. Trade Representative's Office, Greg Dowd. That will do it for today's Farm and Ranch News. From Washington, D.C., I'm Lane Nordland.